The talks women share to be bold and take risks. The talks women say what they feel and mean what they say. Yeah. The talks believe in your power, so much power. Yeah. The talks where women share, women share.
Hey, y'all. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're catching this. Maybe you're catching us live. Maybe you're catching us on the replay. But the big thing is you're in the building with us, and we're so excited. So Vault Talks Women Share is here. Let's go. What's up, ladies? How y'all doing?
I'm good. Doing good.
Y'all good? Y'all good. So we apologize for the technical difficulties behind the scenes there. So y'all know how we do. We just roll and flow with the punches. So we're really excited. If y'all didn't know, it's Fourth Saturday, and it goes down on Vault Talks every Fourth Saturday. Why? He said, she said, they share is always one of the biggest topics that we have on the show, and we're super excited that we are here with all y'all today. So, ladies, what's been going on in y'all worlds here for the past week? Let's start with Ieshia. What's going on with you?
Oh, so much. So much. Working on personal stuff, working, that type of thing. Preparing for this.
Absolutely. Well, and you know what? I'm glad you said that, because let me tell y'all, we meet every week. We have some amazing things that we're getting ready to drop on y'all here very, 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 very soon. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Follow us on IG at Vault Talks Women Share, so you can catch us. All the updates. We'll be making sure that we continue to update that page. You can catch us on our Facebook page. You can catch us on our YouTube channel. So hello to all our YouTube viewers. We thank you guys. And I know the majority of you guys are right here on Facebook with us. So Liz, what's going on in your world before we dive into today? I want to see what's going on in y'all worlds real quick.
So this week has been very challenging. I'm doing a lot more work, a lot more just putting myself out there and just soaking in all of the mentorship that I could possibly soak in, and really just, be uncomfortable. That's really what it is.
That part. Indeed. Now, Tanisha Ramsey Lane, what you got for us, lady?
Blessings on top of blessings. So many doors have been opened this week. I was on platforms I never even thought about I would be able to be on. It's just a blessing in disguise. I'm just embracing the moment. That's all.
That part. And I can definitely say the same. I've been in contact with people who've been finding me left and right. For those of you who don't know, I'm an identity coach, so I focus on working with Millennial and Generation X women to help them discover their identity by using powerful sensitivity and all other kinds of giftings that God has gifted me with. And I'm so thankful because I give him all the honor. Now, I am nobody without him. And I tell that to everybody. And so just really excited about the opportunities that are coming our way. And so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive in to one of my personal favorite segments of the show. And Ieshia just ran and took this over, but we voted. So quiet, it's quote time. Go ahead, Ieshia, take us in.
All right. So, of course, everybody knows today is he said, she said, they share. So we're talking about relationships, and with relationships come, of course, love. So our topic today, really, what is love? So I'm ready to dive into this, especially to see what the men have to say. But today's quote is, love is the thread of humanity. Love is the thread of humanity. Which one of you ladies want to take that?
I'll be last.
No, I'm last.
Oh, I'll be second to last.
Let's let Tanisha take it. Let's see what Tanisha has to say.
We go first. I'll go first. Nothing exists without love. At the end of the day, that's exactly what the Bible is. That's exactly what carries us through, whether it's good or bad, whether it's right or wrong, doesn't matter what's going on. It is the actual thread. You can't have anything. You can't have any type of relationship without the basis of love. What love consists of on that end. You can't wove a shirt. You can't thread a shirt without that love on that end. So honestly, it could be taken so many different levels, so many different twists and turns, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say each. But it literally, in my world, in my life, I've learned to, like, I haven't had much up into my later life girlfriends. And for me, that's a different type of love because I didn't have sisters growing up. So I didn't necessarily know what that meant in that capacity. I know brotherly love. I was tomboy growing up. I don't care. I loved it. And me and my brothers are best friends. Some more than the others. And then when my mom remarried, having more brothers on top of that, it was really a way of like, no matter the battle, no matter the fight, no matter, fight or flight or whatever, I am more of I am a fighter, but at the same time, I am a lover way more than a fighter is. I'm quick to break up a fight before I'm looking at, trying to be in one, but I'm always in the middle of it because I'm like, no, you love this person.
Right.
Why would you put hands on him or her or whatever the case is? If you at one point said, I love her or him, like for me, it's a much deeper level. Somebody back me up because I'm like, I could go in so many different ways with this.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of different ways to kind of go with this, but I'm going to save mine for last. So let's see what Tanisha has to say.
Love to me is unconditional because you will want somebody to love you unconditional because you do not want somebody to love you, then abuse you, and then don't think nothing wrong of it. That cannot happen. Love is not jealousy. Love does not deceive you at all. It don't supposed to, but some people take it and they be on the balance. I got one foot in, one foot out. That's not what God wants. God is love. So if you see yourself and you love God, you should love people as we love God because that's how we're supposed to love one another. And then love is not say you love someone and then you hurt them. You cannot say you love someone and then you hurt them because you got to realize karma is coming back. What you do to others come back to you. It come back to you in tenfold. We understand that, but some people just don't care. So if you don't love others, you don't love yourself. That's how I feel. Look at it.
True. That is so
Absolutely.
True. I mean, yeah, digging with you on that end. It's like it is a teeter-totter type of situation on that end where a lot of people tend to say, I love you, but there's no but. It's like you can express yourself. You can definitely go in and say, like, do this. I've picked up along the way the sandwich effect where you spoil them with all the things that you love about them and you show them that you care and the empathy that you present to that person. You say what it is that's not, really fitting for you at that time or, whatever the case that you have a disagreement with or whatever the case is, but you sandwich that back up, cover it back up with another piece of love on that end. So it's really just diving in and God is love. Yeah, you're right, Tanisha. But at the same and not a but, and there's so many different levels to it. So you really have to be mindful. Like people are quick to say, I love you, with not really understanding the real meaning behind what that all encounters, what that all is filled up with. I think that people take it a little bit for granted on that end when they're quick to say, I love you, or quick to call somebody friend, because in that sense, it's also love. And when you're quick to do that, but then you're turning around, you know, some people have ill will behind the reason they say it. And I really think people really need to take the time out and say, you know what? I'm not going to say something that I don't truly mean. I don't truly feel. So therefore, I just like you a lot. I like a lot of the things that you do. I like a lot of the things that you possess. And I think that if we were to work on it, maybe we can then build what that love encompasses, because I don't ever want to say something and be naive with it. I want to say it because I truly believe it. I truly can stand behind what I say.
Right.
And,
yeah. It's definitely used very loosely and casually. People say it, you know, all the time. And like you said, not really recognizing what all it entails. Like when you say this, there's something that you have to then do. And that's what people don't understand. There are actions that go behind those words and those titles. Just like you said, you call yourself friend. Okay, there are certain expectations that a friend, like there's a role you have to play.
Yeah.
When you give yourself these titles and you say these certain things. So I think people are so used to just, you know, doing things halfway, with not really going the full extent as to actually putting action behind what they say.
And you guys, I mean, there's benefits of going second to last, and I should have went first. So y'all all said a lot of the things that were in my mind and in my heart and my spirit. And so, you know, when I think of love, one of the things I automatically think of is love is faithful, love is kind. And for the longest that scripture would be thrown out there and it would just be a play on words until I really started to dig in, really understand and unpack what that really means. And so, you know, I do understand why people do say I love you to others, because God tells us to love our neighbor, you know, so God tells us to even love our enemies. So when you think of love in that perspective, you know, we do love one another. We're supposed to love one another. And so I believe there's different dimensions of love, and even the Bible talks about that as well. You know, so for me, I know love is definitely action. You know, don't say you love me if you're not going to back it up. You know, we say that a lot. However, I know that action comes in different forms. And I believe that I can't think of who wrote the book, but just talking about love languages and talking about, you know, how people express their love. Some people express it through affirmation and gifts and things of that nature. And there's 3 others that I can't remember right now. However, there's different ways for people to express love. The one thing that I'm learning is, am I positioned to receive the love that people are giving? Meaning, have I done the work to be able to heal in different areas when people have let me down because I allowed expectations to overrule my expectations? Meaning, what do I deem valuable myself instead of putting expectations on other people? And I'm learning when we put expectations on other people, we fail ourselves because people are not perfect. And understanding that we have to, and I talk to y'all about this all the time, and even my clients, giving ourselves the grace enough and the capacity enough to understand what love is for ourselves, and then expressing that to others. And so, you know, love is deep, but it's also, there's a surface to it too, meaning that you can tell your neighbor you love them and they can run with that and understand that you don't want them, you know, but you love them.
It's a clear, right? The thin line between I love you and I love you, you know.
Right.
So.
Right. You know, you out the grocery store, you talk about I love you, and someone trying to slip you their digits, you're like, no.
That's not what I meant, homie.
Right. It ain't that kind of party, you know.
So do you believe that, like, example, like saying I have lots of love for you is a little different in regards to like I love you? Because I'm very particular about saying I, like representing myself. So when I say I love you, that's, man, I'm in it. Yeah, I'm responding to like, this is a relationship of some sort. And then otherwise I'm saying, man, I got much love for you. You know, someone out here loves you. Just so you know.
I think it's essentially the same
Right.
thing, because by you not saying I, you're trying to take that responsibility piece out of it.
Right.
And it's just like, if there's love there, you still have to express it and show it in some capacity. And that's the action part of it. So if you have love for people, there's certain things that you'll do, certain things that you won't do. So I think it's the same thing. It's just like, it's a lot more weight and responsibility placed on it when you say the word I. You know what I mean? Then the expectations come, you know, with that, when you say I love you. You know, a lot of things can come from that. So yeah, I get what you're saying, Liz. But let me throw mine in so we can let these men in here, because I know they're ready. But Takara, you said something about surface love, which kind of pertains to what it is that I was going to talk about today, for the segment, the Love for Real segment. So the quote, "Love is the thread of humanity." I came up with that because I was pondering, you know, what does love mean to me if I was to define love? So I asked Siri. I'm like, Siri, what does love mean? I ain't like what she told me. So I'm just like, okay, let me think about it for myself and see exactly how would I, you know, express the definition. So what I came up with was, love is the highest and most powerful means of human connectivity.
Ooh.
That's what it means to me.
That's deep.
Right.
Tell Siri that, okay? Can you tell Siri that?
Right. So we need to get that one on Google. But yeah, that's what it means to me. Like, when I think about it, that's literally how we connect with one another, and that's God's connection to us. You know what I mean? So coming up with that, I came up also with 3 levels of human connectivity. So Sakara mentioned surface, and that's just like meeting someone and passing, a stranger. You see, you have to possess enough love in your heart to even like engage people and speak to them. It sounds so simple, but everybody don't do that. So it's just like, you see someone and you just say, "Hey, how you doing?" Most people will speak. Some will look at you crazy. You know, you never know what you're gonna get. So it's just like, you know, a lot of people are unhappy with themselves, and they express it in a lot of different ways, to strangers, to people, you know, they do know. So it's just like, you never know what you're encountering when you approach a person. But just because, you know, you want to be kind and speak and, you know, express yourself, that's that form of love that has to be there. Like Takara was saying, that surface level. So the next level is a spirit level. So you can connect with people, you know, spiritually. When you spend time with them, you talk to somebody, you really get to see who they are, how they view life, you know, that type of thing. Really get to see their inner spirit. It goes beyond that surface of speaking, "Hey, how you doing?" That type of thing. It's just like we're engaged in conversation. You're expressing yourself, I'm expressing myself. I see your views, and vice versa. So that's that spiritual connection that, you know, we kind of gather once we spend time with people. And then the next one is the soul connection. And that's one where you really invested time, and you know, let down your boundaries. You become vulnerable with this person. And that's when you can really see God's inner working in their life, and what their soul purpose is, and what they, you know, their desires are, and that type of thing. So that's how we really connect as humans. But just like you said, walking and passing, we don't think about that. We are so focused on, you know, what we got going on, other things, trying to avoid the person next to us. You know, we spend so much time doing that instead of really engaging and loving on people, because you can just speak and you can make somebody's day. You never know. We are all hungry for that connection. So just knowing and understanding that love has to be present in order to genuinely engage people, on those 3 levels. So that's my segment for today.
That's good stuff.
It's powerful. It's powerful. Digging into it on the end.
Yeah.
Reflections, ladies?
I love the fact of what you said, like overall, the surface, the spiritual, and the soul, because it is a different level for every single thing. I think the one thing that I'm also going to do myself is that, growing up in New York, we're hard. And we wear it on our face, like I constantly switch up my face to make sure that it's like I had to tell myself, smile, Liz.
Yeah.
Smile, Liz. You know, you get a completely different interaction with people when you just smile.
Yeah.
So thank God for Louisiana being out there for 3 years. It taught me a lot about that. Okay.
That southern hospitality. Yeah.
I had lunch ladies, come here, baby. Let me real quick. She broke me down in like 2.5 seconds to me in my time, but she worked on me every time I came into her presence on that end. So it is surface level because it starts at surface level. Like a lot of it is on the inside, like what's going on within you on a spiritual level. But I believe that if you're able to, it's like I used to say fake it till you make it, but now I'm really, really just crawling back to that way of faith it till you make it. Because at the end, it's like, if you're not in love with not an inkling of yourself, like, you really can't give it out to the next person because you don't know how to.
Right.
So it really starts to like wear on you. Like if I'm able, like I'm noticing like just smiling throughout the day, even with this coronavirus stuff, you got the mask on. I literally pulled it down yesterday in the store and smiled at somebody because it looked so mean. And I was like, how you doing, sweetheart? I hope you're having a great day. I hope the day is over for you soon, so that way you can go home, relax, and have you some iced tea or something. Mix Long Island iced tea if you want to. But
right.
It made her smile. It made her giggle. She was like, "You're funny," and I was like, "I just wanted to see a smile upon your face. Like I can see it within your eyes. I don't necessarily have to see it, but I see it within the eyes because you could tell when somebody's mood changes like that. So that's my." Like I go out and I'm like, okay, I may not have a great day, but I'm gonna sure enough make somebody else's day. I always used to feel like if I can laugh, if I can make one person laugh throughout the day, then I've accomplished what I wanted to do for the day.
That part.
That's so good. Yeah, because you come across people who are, we are going through stuff, but some people wear it. And they live in it and they embody it and they give it out to other people, sometimes not even knowing, that they're doing it. So it's just like being aware of you and secure within yourself, because it's easy to get offended by other people's mess. You being so nice and they come to you, they have an attitude, they looking at you with a stank face and all that extra.
Right.
Like, hold up, like I ain't did nothing to you, but you just have to understand that we all struggling and going through stuff. So I'm learning to take it with a grain of salt. Learning.
Yeah.
Well, this is a bomb segment. I love hearing from y'all. It's amazing to hear what's on your hearts as co-hosts. So thank you for your segment. And it is quite the transition to what we're going to be talking about today. I don't know about y'all, but I'm super excited. This is a topic that we really need to hear the men's perspective on. So they behind the scenes, they ready. I know they got their game faces on. They ready for what we about to throw at them. Not knowing what we getting ready to throw at them. Heck, we don't know what the audience getting ready to throw at them. But it's exciting. So today's guests, we have Timothy Moore and Michael Young coming on. So, gentlemen, welcome to our platform, our world. We're excited to have y'all here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Look, it's a beautiful day. We both wearing white. All right, Tim, I see you.
What's up, bro?
Hey,
You, man. Look, I need to be on my back.
Hey, man, look, it's too good not to be out here, man. Come on.
So you guys have both been on the platform this month alone. So let's just give the audience a little bit, for those who might not have caught your segments when you guys were on the show earlier this month. Who are y'all? And so where do y'all live? What do y'all do? Tim, you want to go first?
Sure, why not? Hello, everyone. My name is Timothy Moore. I'm a vision, perspective, and perception coach. I help small businesses, entrepreneurs, anyone who needs it, clarify their vision, help them break through invisible barriers so that they can live the life that they dream. Born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. I've been in the IT field for about 15 years. I just love being me. Woo woo.
Man, that's love.
Mikey, what do you go by? Michael?
Oh, listen, my voice and my shoulders are way past Mikey. Okay. I got, you know how many times, give it to Mikey, he'll eat it. And I look, this voice came out and I was like, no, we ain't Mikey no more. It does look like I might need to switch. It's getting a little dark. So
no, you're perfect.
Appreciate y'all having me. Michael Young, I am a catalyst for change in this community. I am an elected official, been in the public policy scene for the last 15 years. I'm a father. I love being a person that yells at these little people I'm putting in the world. But outside of that, I've been in technology and management consulting, a lot of focus in healthcare and nonprofits. But outside of that, I'm a lover of rum. I'm a lover of cigars and gone through a whole bunch of life lessons. So hopefully I got a little bit to lay on y'all today.
We're excited. We're super excited. So I know Ieshia wants boom shaka. Okay, we'll roll. Ieshia, go ahead and kick off the segment with the question that you shared with me this morning.
All right. So guys, since you are here, we would love to know, what is your definition of love?
I'm
gonna let y'all decide who's gonna go first.
Right.
I mean, is that me? Okay. I saw 10 point. Love. Man, I tell you what, I felt love a few times. I've definitely thought what love was when I was younger, and I think about it and laugh at myself. You know, we all got a little bit of baggage, right? Whether it's stuff you experience as a child, things you go through as an adult, things you still have to deal with today, like co-parenting and divorce and children and things like that. But for me, love is when you are able to unpack your baggage. You're comfortable. You really are vulnerable to that person. And I don't mean vulnerable from the point of you're set up for hurt. I mean that person understands that if you are in a situation and your palms are sweaty, they understand why. That someone gets you. And that's love to me. And then, you know, not just to be understood, but to also go out of your way to do that for your partner in return. And, you know, I would say I'm always kind of the breadwinner in my situations. I'm not always looking for that, but listen, if I got a new Oprah and I'll be Stedman doing the laundry, I ain't got no problem. I need to support her, no different. So that's love for me.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Come on, Tim.
I know, Tim.
So, all right. So, I got a lot. So I'm gonna try to condense it. But I need to say this. The Greeks have more than one word for love. And I think they got the concept because if we look at just from a Western standpoint, we just got that one word, love. And for men, when we say I love you or love in terms of a relationship, most of the time, until we grow up, till we mature and learn some stuff, the only love that we really understand is the Greek word eros. Eros is the erotic love that is conditional. And it's the love that says, I love you if you love me. If you do this for me, I do this for you. If you stop doing this, I'll stop doing this. That's eros. Now, I think as men, we're kind of conditioned for that because we're very physical. And so when we're in the middle of, you know, taking care of our business and we holler, I love you, That's what we mean at that moment, but it's the eros. But as I mature and as I grow up a little bit, I realize what the old men say is true. Respect. That I've never experienced real respect and reverence from a woman until recently. And it is amazing. I was like, wow. And it has me scratching my head. And so I understand that for men, we might say, yeah, like, or for me, it was physical. It was constantly physical. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. But what I was really looking for was reverential love. Like, you know, the Bible says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And it's that reverence that we have for God that really shows how much we love him. Like, we fear him, we reverence him. He show up on the scene and we, like, you know, even Sarah, the Bible says, call Abraham Lord. Like, that's major respect. And when a woman shows that, dude, I'm on a whole other level, because I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't even know that was possible. So I'm learning. So for me now, love is if you respect me. And like Michael said, is if you respect me after I unpack my baggage. Mic drop. If I let you know all this, you still rock with me, yeah, we good. So now I gotta learn how to process. You know what I'm saying? Be like, okay, you mean you gon' still roll even after I told you all that? I'm scratching my head trying to figure this out. So that's my spiel.
Yeah, both of you guys were definitely on point. Mike, when you spoke of the vulnerability, that's necessary. That comfortability that you get from people when you can, like you said, unpack your stuff and be who you are and not have to worry about, you know, what they'll think or what they'll do with what you've given them.
Right.
That level of comfort when you're expressing yourself, that is something that, you know, is unmatched. So that's definitely necessary, as well as what Tim said, is respect and love for me go hand in hand.
Yeah.
That's just it. You know what I mean? You can't really have one without the other. You can say you love me, but you disrespect me. It doesn't add up.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up at all. So that definitely was a great point of it, you know, that respect. And once you get that, and you'll be willing to give it, that's where that, you know, that reciprocity and, you know, reverence comes from. It's just like, okay, you respect me enough for me being me, who I am, so I can give that same thing to you. You know what I mean? So in love and relationships, I think a lot of time we expect to be given things that we don't necessarily give or even know how to give.
Right.
And when we do give it, not knowing how much value it actually has for you being the giver, but you will benefit from giving to another person, because they'll hopefully, in the right situation, they'll be willing to reciprocate.
That's good. That's good.
But you know what? Here is kind of like the other side of that. What about if they don't give it back? And that's where I think where your love then has to mature.
Yeah.
Because it's a decision. I don't believe in falling in love. Like, if I fall, that don't sound very good to me. So if I'm in love, it's going to be because I chose to. It was like I'm woke and I see all of this and then I choose to love. Because if you stick your foot out and I fall, I could get hurt. And then I could easily fall in and I can fall out.
Jesus.
But if I'm in love, I made a full-fledged decision to love like you are. I mean, you don't have to change a thing. You don't have to be anything that I expect you to be, because I'm giving you my love out of a choice and it's unconditional. So if you don't give it back to me, I'm still going to love you, because I believe that there's nothing in nature that shows us that, but there's something in the invisible that teaches us about loving without even expecting anything back. That's in the invisible. You won't find that in nature. Something has to reveal that to you. And that's what I'm trying to, follow into and work on. In the past, I didn't. Like, look, if you ain't loving me, I ain't loving you. And if you stop cooking and washing dishes, well, then I'm going to stop doing blue, 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 blue. So that's where you have to mature in that love.
Yeah, that tick for tack type of thing is not what love is on that end. You showing it. I totally believe what Takara said earlier about learning your love language, and knowing the other person's love language on top of that. Like, you really need to know, like, well, how do you want me to express it? Like, what works for you? And if you're not able to even soak up that type of energy and soak up what they're telling you, then it's like you're really not taking what my love language has to do for me. And how I can then reciprocate that back to you on that end. So that tick for tat never works out. I'm gonna do this, so then I expect you to do that. Those expectations too get into like a major, you need to like kind of like lower your ego. Your ego needs to come like match up. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be exact every single time or anything like that. You could be up here, the other person's down here, but when are y'all gonna level? When are y'all gonna balance out? When are y'all gonna learn to compromise to get to that point where it's like, okay, this is who I am, this is who you are. Let's gel it together. Let's see if it works. I feel like a lot of people don't even take the time out to even want to know who you are.
Yeah.
To soak up that energy and say, this is what I'm about. Or, a lot of people are just so willing to take because you give so much, and then you're then drained as to like, okay, I can give more love than what I've given you. I feel like I depleted myself. Or
Elizabeth, on that one, I say all the time in dating, and I appreciate what you're sharing there and dropping those bombs on us. Every situation, two people need to equate to 100%. Sometimes I'm 90, you're 10. Sometimes you're 90, I'm 10. Just because you handled it one time at 90 does not always mean you want to be the lead in that situation. You need someone to step up. You want someone, we always talk about it, fill your buckets. And it is not even, to me, love is not just about what, Tim, you're saying about that physical piece. It is about, what do you need to do? Are you a partner? Are you a union? Do you step over that broomstick together every day and make sure that you're committed to have success? And, that could be the bank account, that could be chores, that could be home little remodels and new painting. What are you going to do together as a team to have the best outcome possible? To me, that's where love gets real deep. And, some days, I'll be honest, I'm the giver. I will put 110 in stuff. That's probably why I'm out in these streets. Not like that. I mean, in the community. And it's
clarify, bro. Get that vision right.
Yeah, you're right. I need to clarify. But, I just think that I'm such a giver that there are times
get attacked.
I let myself down, because even though I'm still pushing, I'm doing 110. At the end of the day, I'll come down and sit on the couch and have my little yak and say, man, I really wish someone would have done that today. And I didn't even do my damn due diligence in saying that's what I needed. And I need to do a better job of that, because sometimes if it needs to get done, I just do it. And I've probably done that at fault in relationships as well. So that's definitely been a growing point for me, is that I try too hard. I probably wait too long. I'm probably too patient on certain things because I'm in politics, right? But, spanning that into when it comes inside your home, the best example I have that's taught me is my kids, when it comes to that unconditional love. All right. Thanks for breaking the toilet and costing a whole bunch of money today, but I still love you.
Wow. I want to piggyback on that. piggyback on what all you said, because I'm just sitting here thinking like, oh my God, in so many ways, I got so much experience in different ways. For one, I've been married for a minute. For two, in the beginning, we've been together for a long time. Love is a
Congrats.
process. Love is a real process because you just anybody can say they love you, but showing is two different things. Action is two different things. You can love a person 100% and they can love you 40%. At the end of the day, that's when the action shows. Something can really happen major in your relationship, but are you willing to love that person above their flaws? Even though they unpack their package, but are you willing to stick there? Because you say, I'm love and in love is two different things. And then it's the process. Then that's when you go from here to here to here. So with me and my husband, I felt like I was all in from day one. I feel like, okay, love at first sight, but I had to get to know him. And it was some things that I might not be, not that I've been honest, but I didn't express everything at once because I hold everything in. So when you're a person that's been through trauma and pain, we tend to give a little and then we take back some. We don't give our all out. So I can really say that's part of my fault because when we got married, did I feel like we rushed? No, we didn't rush, but I feel like maybe I rushed a little bit more than he did, even though we waited 5 years before we got married. But the principle is that it was a process. We had to still get to learn each other. You can say I love you 1,000 times. That doesn't mean you can love them, but you don't really know them as a person. So while you're learning yourself, you're learning them as well. But are you willing to put your emotions down and listen and communicate? That's the biggest problem when people in marriage and when it comes to love, they don't communicate. They don't tell each other how they really feel. And then you sit here to say, okay, I'm just going to say what she want me to say. Or I'm going to just say what he want me to say. No, you just want to say that's what you want to hear at the time. No, you have to say what you really mean and mean what you say. And people say don't say that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Just really get be honest with yourself because it's gonna bring problems in the relationship later. Because you gotta realize some people will hold they love you, but they hold stuff in the back of their mind. Like, oh, I remember when you did this. Oh, I remember when you did that, but you love me though. So that's
Man,
unconditional love. When you're loving somebody, regardless of their flaws, no matter what they did, you might have to separate. I don't separate twice, but I'm not embarrassed to say because I'm transparent. And we got back together, but we made it work. And now I can truly say that I know my husband loved me unconditionally. And why I didn't see it before, because I was blocking. I
Yeah.
was blocking I wasn't listening. I was here, but I wasn't feeling it because I didn't let myself feel. So if you got some hurt inside of you and you're not letting it go and you're not going to heal from the inside out, then
Yeah.
you're going to have a problem and then you're not going to really have real love.
Right.
And when real love is there, you're not going to notice it because you're so busy blocking the emotion because you're on bad, hurt emotions. So
Yeah.
when it comes to relationship, marriage, I don't care. You ain't got to be married, just relationships, period. Be 100% of what you went through, what you're going through. You have to talk. I don't care. I don't want to talk about it this time. That's you being into yourself. That's
Right.
you not loving yourself. You
That's,
have to love yourself more than the want to talk to that person to get to know them and to love them just as much as you love yourself. That's what I mean. Like love is kind and love is not jealousy. It's loving above the flaws.
right.
man,
Don't
Tanisha, listen,
tell
you,
me.
you
Just
got
say,
a
oh, I
sister
don't
over
like
there? Listen,
Oh, good now,
dropping
my
by.
word. We got sisters now. That ain't no problem.
right here. All right. Yeah. I got
That
you
ain't no
down there.
No, but you're absolutely right though. When you talking about inside out.
Right.
Going through my divorce, a lot of things I don't talk a lot about. And my left arm is my most heavily tatted arm, and that's around my daughter, Lindsay. I lost my first daughter 16 years ago, and that shaped me, man, and it shook me, real talk, even my faith. And one of the things that I employ now because of that is meditation. And one of the first principles every day when you talk about your things inside, I'm a father, I'm a man, I'm a leader in the community, but at the beginning of the day, I'm a human being. And for me to be a good father, for me to be a good partner, the boyfriend, new future husband, ex-husband, whatever I'm going to be, I have to be a good human being every day and center and focus around that. So you absolutely right. And I applaud you on that. And you're right. I remember being married. The thing I hated most about being married was the divorce. But there was a time where, I mean, I got one of those little funny stories. I mean, my ex-wife, we have a kid together and things, and we also shared our loss. But I met her in 8th grade, like junior high, and we just grew up to be different adults. I think we just went through the normal pressures, you know, of what's next? What's next? What are you going to do now? You're going to get the house now, going to get the car, start finances. And it felt more systematic than it was love. Now I know the difference.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, now I'll come over to your house when you have an issue and you find you need some help with a project, as opposed to, it's Saturday and we woke up together and we're comfortable, as opposed to we're in love and truly loving each other. So I tell you on that one, you got to start at the root of who you are, what you've been through, before you can even entertain and try to understand someone else. You got to look in.
And that's real good. So the 2 words that, first of all this is real good. I'm glad that I'm just marinating. I'm just taking it all in. So I'll say this, Tanisha, you said something, and all I heard was the power of making a decision and the power of communication. And so communication is huge. I have a little saying that it's basically communication is the effective heartbeat to all our relationships. I mean, it's kind of like putting oil in your car. Like, it ain't gonna run. You know, you gotta be able to have those difficult conversations and not be ready to run or be all up in your feelings and be a big baby and, you know, all that good stuff. And so I'm thankful to have learned a lot of lessons just about communicating. And for me, communication comes with a challenge. Like, there was a point where I wouldn't talk. I would just let you have your way, and I wouldn't say nothing. I'd literally be that ticking time bomb, because I felt like my voice didn't matter. And so what was the point of me even saying blah, 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 because you're going to do ... because I was in a place of, well, that's what they've always done. So if I even say this, you're going to do this. So, you know, just understanding the power of making that decision to understand that your voice is valid no matter what. And to be able to be mature enough to handle what your partner is going to say. That's important.
Yeah.
Super important. You know, don't run from what they're getting ready to say. You didn't already made the commitment that you're going to be with this person no matter what. So here's the no matter what. Okay, what you going to do?
Man, communication is king, isn't it, Takara?
It is.
I mean, being a young man who's emancipated from these streets, homeless, I have an utmost value and regard for the things that are free. Okay. So love, communication, expression, all the things that don't cost you money, don't cost you time, they just take effort and commitment to do. I have the biggest expectation for someone to bring to the table. And I'd probably say, you know, if communication was better with some of my former chapters, I'd probably still be in those chapters. But being a consultant, I probably set the bar high. My job is to walk into any boardroom and clearly express myself, make sure I understand them. And if I don't, then we got a problem or we're not aligned. So I kind of walk into every room thinking that, I'm going to talk the way you talk. No, can you talk the way I talk? Okay, cool. Now we got it. And so sometimes I got to bring that down. And I'm catching that just a little bit. But man, communication is so important, especially when it comes to love languages.
Yeah. Oh my God. So that part, we got a question and I'm loving it.
Oh, okay.
So should you talk about your past relationships with your current partner?
I'll respond to that one.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim. Go ahead, Tim.
All right. Here is my thing. It talks about baggage. If your past is not really in the past, you need to talk about it.
Whoa.
Meaning, if you got baggage, if you got stuff you ain't let go of, if you got stuff that you haven't healed from, you got exes you still mad at, you need to talk about that.
Right.
But if you're free, there's no need to talk about it. There's no, I mean, why? But if you see your baby daddy and you start feeling some kind of way and now you go home and can't make love to your husband, there's a problem. There needs to be some open communication. You need to explain what happened so that you know, he can know how to deal with your crazy behind because you done shut down and you ain't doing what you're supposed to. Come on now. You
hey,
crazy.
Say it
You
again.
don't know why.
Say it again. Go ahead, Tim. Look. I go look.
You don't know why. You don't know why you acting crazy. I don't want to talk about it. What you mean? You ain't doing right by me. And now you about to figure something out of my past. I'm about to go. I'll be back in about 2 hours. Where you worry about it?
You better get out of daddy's caddy. You better quit playing around.
It's a healing process for real. You just have to get victory out your mess. At the end of the day, you have to get victory out your mess.
That's good.
If you can't face your mess, then you ain't gonna have no victory. So you might as well just forget about it. So I like that one too. That was cool. It's vice versa though. You know, it's vice versa. Vice versa.
Yeah, because men will not admit that they have issues from previous relationships, or even if they are aware and they're just acting out of that hurt. You know what I mean?
You can't run, dude. You can't. Where you running to?
Man, don't you leave me by myself
for a minute.
That don't work. You know that.
Yeah, and I mean, 9 times out of 10, like, we all have some type of hurt or baggage from a previous situation that we've been in before we enter into the next. That's just going to be a part of it. So if you're not ready to unpack somebody else's stuff, don't even get involved. Because we pick up things, you know, along the way as we interact with different people, and not just like romantic relationships. Interacting with anybody, you could be scarred by an old boss and you go to another job and now you're, you know, acting out of that hurt. You know what I mean? So any type of relationship that you've had any type of interaction with somebody and they made you feel a certain type of way, or they've done something to you or wronged you in a way, you haven't dealt with it. We oftentimes don't even know how to heal and move past certain things. So of course there's going to be something to unpack from previous situations. I think it's fine to talk about previous relationships in that regard if you're trying to heal from it, or say this person did this, you know, this hurt me, or they used to do this, or especially if you see something in the person that you're dealing with that reminds you of that other person. I know a lot of people hate to be compared, you know, in that way, but it's just like that's you working through, you know, certain things. If it triggered you, of course you're going to say something. You know, if your partner gives you that space to feel comfortable enough to talk about it, you know what I mean? If there aren't so many insecurities that, you know, it turns into an argument instead of just a simple conversation. So just having that understanding and knowing who you're talking to when you're talking about certain things. If you're not secure enough in your relationship, definitely try to hold off bringing up, you know, past relationships, past people, that type of thing.
That's good.
It just depends on where you are. Personal story. I saw my boyfriend's ex the other day. So we talked about it and it was fine. But if it was a different situation to where it's just like, okay, I'm insecure about this, it would have been an issue.
Yeah, that's
so there are certain times where, you know, it's okay to talk about past things, but it depends on where you are in your relationship.
That part. Now, if you're on a first date, you're not going to lay out all your baggage on the first date or in the first 90 days. According to Steve Harvey, that's a whole other topic. That was a joke, by the way. So hold up. It was a joke.
I laughed for
it. Anyway, so but I believe it is important because for many reasons, like the whole comparison thing, you know, that part. Or like you said, Tim, just the whole, you know, somebody starts acting funny and you don't know why and they're not talking. And, you know, it comes out. But again, like you said, Ieshia, you have to be at a point in the relationship where you're able to talk about that. And that person's not going to throw it up in their face. Or they're not going to say, you know, I knew this, blah, blah, blah. Or it turns like way left. And then what's really happening then is like now that person is going to be more cautious of how they even share things with you. So now you're putting up a wall where there should be a bridge. So you very well need to be very mindful of how you deliver and when. But that's with growth and being able to, you know, kind of ease your way into those conversations and kind of just tap in a little bit, not sharing everything, but just seeing where they're at and how they can handle it, seeing where they're at, how they're handling it, and building together. And that's really important.
Yeah, so on that point, I've got two things on it.
So wouldn't it be a lot better just
you got a delay going on. Go ahead, somebody.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tim.
I want to know what Tim got to say because he said
no, you go ahead.
A lot better.
No. So my thing is, wouldn't it be if you dating? It'd just be a whole lot easier to come to the table, drop it all, get it out the way, instead of waiting until you fell in love and they start revealing stuff. I gotta begin in the beginning and not show you certain things. If I really want to be with you and you really want to be with me, why do we have to go down and then I have to change my mind down the line? Because now we both start revealing stuff that we can't deal with. Is it because we too scared we're gonna lose somebody? That right there. Look, they fine, you fine. But if you lose them, then they wasn't really attracted to the total you, is what I'm saying. But no, we, you know what I'm saying? Eventually they gonna find out. You dating for a reason.
That's true.
Because you supposedly want to, you know what I'm saying? Why not just tell them?
Right. And I feel like they can't
This is
share.
who I am. Yeah.
If they cannot share with you, the reason why they can't talk about their past is because they still have a soul tie with the other person, the ex person. So when you have a soul tie, then don't get in a relationship because you only set yourself up for failure.
Jeez.
Right.
That part. Mic drop. That's
right.
I get what you're saying, Tim, but I'm sorry, Michael. You can speak. I'm just gonna respond to what Tim said. I get what you're saying, but certain things come up throughout the relationship. It's just because certain things are triggered. So initially, it is important to like put everything out. You know, I talked to this person. I had this many relationships. You know, this kind of hurt me. I've been through this, that type of thing. But as you go through and you're dealing with this other person, certain things may trigger you to think of some things that you dealt with in the past or things that you don't even know that affected you will come up. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's certain times throughout the relationship that you'll have to address certain things.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we're not in a place of being vulnerable, especially men, to say this person hurt me or I still feel a type of way because of this. You know, so it's just like kind of going through and letting that person grow to a point to where they are comfortable with themselves and with you enough to really say how they really feel about certain things. It's a process. It's a whole process. But let's let Michael speak because I know he
I'm good.
The shades off. He really ready.
Yeah, y'all know me. I'll talk anyway, so I need to be quiet and listen as well. And I love what everybody's saying here. Elizabeth, you're a little quiet today. I'm expecting you to drop some more bombs.
Yeah, I say.
So we talk about dating and past relationships. That was the question we're really talking about here, and I put some notes up to make sure I hit on some of these things. One, it's interesting dating in at least my age, right? And I don't mean just number. I mean an experience, kids, divorce. Tried dating before, tried dating after. Had to figure it all out. Dating at my age, when you sit down at the table with somebody. And it's almost like you have the relatable scar tissue. Like, oh, hey, have you had a crazy person drive by your house? Have you had somebody go through your phone? Have you had somebody who ate all, like, they just always had a situation and always needed money or whatever? Or did you have that weird baby mama, baby daddy come over and crazy stuff, you know? And you literally kind of relate and say, show me your scars, I'll show you mine, and we'll see where you kind of line up with me. That's an interesting thing to have when you have that type of conversation. And to Ieshia, to your point, yeah, there's certain things you just gotta talk about right up front, you know. But there are things that down the road, like I've had a scenario where the last most serious relationship I had, I lived with someone, okay, and we moved in together. And I just said, you know what? I've done all the pussyfooting around, excuse the terminology, being slow and low with things. I just jumped in 2 feet and said, I'm going to end these trials that I had, and I'm going to go live with this woman, and I'm going to try to co-parent the best I can with her. And you know what? I had so many triggers down the road that I felt like I really didn't even know her. She was a different person within 90 days. And I don't know if it was comfort. I don't know if I didn't do my due diligence. It's probably all the above. And it was to the point where like I changed the locks and put her stuff in a hallway and said, we're done. Because it was detrimental to my home, it was detrimental to my kids. And man, that was just such a life lesson learned. So I think, you need to talk a little bit about your exes. And I think you need to be transparent about what made you to the person you are today.
Yes.
But on the flip side, just because I've dealt with some, and I get it a little bit, being a consultant, being a public person, we all do it. LinkedIn. Hey, I got your contact information. How can we get together? I'm sure that my just profession provokes some insecurities with things, and I need to have someone who's equally yoked and understand that I'm not here to do bad. I need to hold myself accountable, make sure I don't make it look bad. But you know what I cannot stand? I absolutely loathe, okay, is when someone asks a whole bunch of questions, but they're not forthcoming with the same information.
Oh my God.
If you know what I mean? When someone says, hey, what are you doing today? What's this? That's fine. Ask a whole bunch of questions. But if you're not sharing it yourself, why are you asking me the question? Because now I'm of the mindset of, well, if you want to know it, what makes you think I don't want to know it? So why do I have to go through and ask and say, and you? And no, if you want to talk about it, you want to know about it, that's fine. But don't make me ask then, because now the topic's on the table. I cannot stand that. So I'm going to digress a little bit on that one. Y'all see how I feel. But like, I think talking about past relationships are important. I mean, being a father is the greatest thing I've ever done. It's also one of the hardest, most painstaking things I do every day. And, we talk about someone's going to be real up front. And Tim, I think you were starting to talk about, they enjoy it. Do we need to know who they are? Being in my role in the community, being in the news all the time, running campaigns, everybody's like, oh, that's cool. You look good. You got the tattoos, got a little change in your pocket. You love being a dad. I see you trying to affect public policy, sitting on these boards. That's cool. Can I date you? And I'm like, all right, well, we'll talk about it a little bit. And then when it comes to sustaining those things, the amount of effort it takes to be a dad, the amount of effort it takes to be on a board, the amount of effort it takes to be, financially independent, it's tough. It's rough. And then it comes down to, well, what about me? You got to go work now? Well, you like the house? You like the lights? You like air conditioning? Help me pay the bill so I ain't got to. And that's when it comes to be a big old problem. So on that note, and on that part, I really think past relationships are important. But I think, Tim, you said if it's something that's recent, it's something that you're still having to go through, there's no way you can write a new chapter if you're still in the previous one and you ain't ended it, And so those were great words you said, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Go ahead, Mike. Tim.
No, we want to hear from you, Liz. Come on here. You've been sitting.
Yeah, girl.
No, go ahead. You have. You want to have to do it. Go ahead.
I solely believe that when you kind of get into a relationship, like the first primary questions that I typically ask, because I want to know, and that means that I'm open and I'm willing to dive right into, is what happened in your last relationship that made it not work?
Why are you here?
Yeah, like why are you?
Right.
Why
like
are
what
we
you do?
Like what happened?
You go
what happened to where to why you are here and like in this place now? Do you think you're over it? Do you I go in, okay? Men typically cannot handle it because I legit the reason I'm asking is because I'm kind of like I want to not really compare or anything like that, but I'm also like how did I level up? Like, are you leveled up or are you like where you are and you're just confused? Because we all get to a place where we're all confused, or we're like, you're trying to understand, what is it that I want? Okay. So when you really when you step into the next relationship and you're like, okay, I think this person is either on my level or a little below, or maybe I can rise up to be with them, and people are just not forthright and they're not willing to give up information. And everything from what everyone has said is like, you know, communication is the biggest factor. Honesty is another factor that comes right out. It comes right behind it. And then being loyal, on top of that, you know, it's not saying, okay, immediately I expect you to be loyal to me. It's more so, you know, I need you to just tell me what's up. So when people don't do that, I've noticed that in relationships, that when people don't do that, or they're not forthright, or they're not, you know, they're not able to talk about their past, then it shows me like, okay, something's going on. You know, how do we dive into that? How do we break that apart? How do we recognize the red flags? And then when those red flags come about, do you mention them? Do you bring them up? And if they don't, or if only one-sided, which, you know, in my past relationship, you know, being transparent about who I am, it's always one-sided. It's always one person asking. And if only one person asking, that's when you just, you know, you're either going to check out or you're going to move forward with it because you're well invested and you want to know more. And you're, you know, I know you're scared. We're all scared. So let's move forward together, being scared. But if the next person's not able to do that, then it's like, okay, you're breaking, you're not able to unpack. You're not able to move forward. You're stuck in whatever past relationship you're in. So you don't need to be in a relationship. You need to be dating yourself.
On that part, so many damn people have no idea how to be alone, and they're just fishing, looking. I cannot stand that, man. Amen on that.
And that's how you know the relationship probably won't, you know, it'll be imbalanced. Because if you don't know how to be by yourself, how can you, you know, come together with somebody else? You know what I mean? Like, you're not comfortable with you. So you use that other person to fill that void. You always have to have that connectivity, that codependent type of thing. Where it's just like you're not settled with who you are. A lot of people don't know how to be single. They're always looking because they're searching for something that they, you know, haven't found within themselves.
Yeah.
Man, say it again. So
come on.
2 weeks ago, I went through something like this. Young woman I respect a lot. I actually got to know her because of contract work. And I actually knew
Say her name.
No. I knew her kid's father, and we had worked together. I was handling technology for the organization, and he's no longer with us. He had an unforeseen accident. And so, you know, this child triggers me a little bit because it's like what I went through. My father gone too early. Mom left to depend on things in the community around her. But, you know, we've come out to be friends, and there was even a couple times hey, we're going to try something, not try something. Never works out. So it is what it is. I'm being transparent as all get out right now. But the issue that came up in just the last few weeks, she's talking about someone she's been trying to date. Wolves no longer over her eyes about this cat. And she finally has stepped to the side and said, I'm done with him. I can't believe all this. But still entertains and complains about how she feels about it, right? No big deal. Just sitting around the patio, having a couple little drinks, and, you know how that gets people to talk about what they're going through. And I ain't gonna play. By the end of the conversation, she was like, do you think we could try again? I said, you just got done telling me about what you were doing up with old boy over here and all the problems you got with old boy over here. And you want me in the same conversation. I ain't even paid the tab yet. What is going on?
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I was like, can you be single for a minute? Can you sit down? Like, you know, let me find you a good candidate. But thanks for putting all your red flags out on display. I'm going to step to the next one.
Wow.
Sometimes it happens like that. And
all of them.
all of them.
Like, not withholding. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Okay.
Man, don't have no white and blue. It's just all red. Ain't no red, white, and blue. Just red.
It can't make dollars. It don't make sense. Okay.
Shoot. There's a lot of sense up through here.
Man.
Oh,
I mean-
wait. I think you just taught her something though.
Yeah.
If she's watching. Like,
I
you
hope.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
'Cause
lesson in that.
I don't think she's not a bad woman. I definitely ain't gonna talk bad about her. I think we all go through things.
Yeah.
I've never had, I'm a single father. I'm not a single parent by myself. And so I can't imagine what that feels like. I'm sure that, we talk about scar tissue. I mean, I'm going to make some assumptions, no different than what I saw with my mother at the time. I saw it just dealing with life, but there's got to be some triggers of being alone when you've had to put someone in the ground that was a partner. That's different.
Yeah.
And so as much as I might say, oh, breaks, I am softer a little bit to at least understand and at least want to understand as a good friend. But as a partner,
Right. Absolutely.
And that's important. And I share with a lot of the women that I coach and mentor, I spent 4 years by myself, and it was like some of the best years ever. I didn't date, and I got to know me a little bit better. And I came out of a 5-year relationship, and it was one of the best things ever. And a lot of people just don't know how to sit still. They always want somebody in their bed, in their car, looking across the table at them at dinner. It's like, do you understand who you are? And, what you actually bring to the empty table, because it's empty right now. It's not always going to be like that. So, just the power and understanding your own identity. And it's a game changer. I mean, you hook up with somebody who also knows who you are. It's a powerhouse. So,
yeah, that's true. That's so true. I think the other thing about it is being like equally yoked on that end, and I'm still learning about a whole concept of that. But being in a place where you're able to unload, or actually, my girl who does Therapy Thursdays, they just had a conversation with a therapist saying about venting versus dumping. And honestly, nobody wants to be dumped on, because then they're just draining your energy, your soul, your life. And then at the same time, where somebody's venting, it's a little bit more, oh, well, you know what? They're able to take more criticism. They're able to take what, you vent. And they're able, the person who's listening to you can say, can give their input, and you're more receptive to really, taking that information and applying it and ciphering it through. Where somebody's dumping, you're like, yeah, girl, ain't you right? You sure you right? But not, going in one ear and out the other. You're not listening. So you have to really understand, like, who you're talking to, because I pick up on body language. And if your body language and your hand signaling and you're not paying attention via the eyes, you're quick to look down, you're looking everywhere else, but in my face, there's a problem. Like, oh, you're lying, don't worry about it. I know how to move, I know how to deal with you. I know how to maneuver with you. And this is how I'm going to proceed going forward. But if people are just blatantly like not in it, then you have to pick up on those cues. Those cues are major. So you definitely have to pick up on those cues and start and know how to move for yourself. And you won't know how to move until you've had that time by yourself and say, this is not what I'm going to take. I'm not going to subject myself to X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to allow someone to treat me like this. So,
right. Because you'll quickly find yourself dealing with the same things that you didn't like in the previous situation. Because that time that you have by yourself, like you said, is the time to say, okay, this is not what I don't want to do this the same way. It's time to do something different. I'm not going to accept this time around, instead of jumping back in it and you're getting hit with all the same things and you haven't even taken the time to figure out how to deal with the things that you didn't like about that certain situation. So it's just like, it's a cycle. You're reliving. Right. You haven't given yourself time or space enough to do so. So just taking people to understand that break after, things go bad in a certain relationship is crucial to figure out how are you going to proceed and move forward with someone else. Because we all want to be in relationships. We all want to be in connection with someone. But it's just like, don't let it be to the detriment of yourself. Don't sacrifice yourself by you not even knowing what it is that you like. Get to know you. You know what I mean? Because people will do what they come in and do what they're going to do regardless. And the boundaries that you set determine the outcome of the relationship. Because if you let people walk all over you, do and come and go and say as they please, they're going to do that.
Yeah.
So setting those things up to say, okay, I'm not going to tolerate this. I deserve this. I value myself, and I'm not, I don't have to accept this type of behavior. That is going to determine, how healthy your relationships are going to be moving forward.
True. Tim, you had
That's
something
good.
to say. We saw you raising your hand.
Oh, so back to that, the topic, what is love? What I thought about in, many spiritual environments, contexts, it says, God is love. So my thought was, if we're going to love people, what do you think about becoming love? Becoming love. Not just saying you love somebody, but if God is love, then what do you think we have to do? Probably be love too. And I'd like to know, what does that look like for y'all? If you want to say, to say I am love, what would that look like?
You definitely have to embody that spirit, God's spirit, if you believe in that He dwells within all of us. So in order to operate out of that, that knowing God is love, what are the things that God does and what He expects from us? Forgiveness is a part of it. Like you said, we talked about the ego. We hate to step outside of ourselves and allow other people to make mistakes.
Right.
So we don't shed that grace, but God gives us that freely because He loves us. So if you think about your relationship and your connection with God, you'll understand how to give it to someone else. Because you can go to God. We say we go to God for anything. God listens. God understands. God gives me grace. God forgives.
Right.
That's love. Why does He do that? Because He loves us. He cares about us. And you have to express that to other people who you say you love and you want to receive that love from.
That's so good, because that ties into that conversation. Tim and I were having a conversation earlier this week just about the whole "I love you, but ... I'm gonna stay with you, but if you do blase blase blah, I'm out. So that's not how God does it. So,
right.
He's always with us. That unconditional love. That whole, we so disobedient and out of alignment at times, and he's I love you enough to allow you to understand and wake up, like, get this, and very gentle and kind with us. And that whole, like I tell, y'all, the whole grace piece, having grace with yourself, and also having grace with your mate, and even grace with your sisters and brothers, and understanding that everybody's definition of love isn't what you see. And so are you going to treat them differently because they don't believe love the way you do? That's not fair.
Right. But there's definitely some understanding that you have to get to in order to kind of dwell with those people when your understanding of love is misaligned.
Right.
Because that's where a lot of hurt can come out of, when you're loving someone the way that you see fit and vice versa. Like, everybody, we don't have the same understanding of what it is.
Right.
Some people think that conditions is love, and that's how they operate. I will love you if you are doing what you're supposed to do, if you are successful, if you are XYZ. But as soon as things are not as I expect, I'm going to treat you differently.
Right.
I'm not going to give you that same grace. I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to, that type of thing. So, and that's where a lot of people come from when they say, I love you, or if they can even say it at all. Some people can't even say those words.
And a lot of it comes from the examples that they've seen in their home, you know, in their church, you know, what love looks like, acts like, feels like. So then it's, you know, your challenge to actually deal with the definition of love from your perspective and from what God says love is. And so then it goes back to what I was saying when Tanisha was talking about making the decision. And it's a decision. Everything that we do in life is a decision.
Man, say that again. So you talk about experiences, Takara, about relationship, God, things like that, your past experiences. And so I have definitely been of chapters that where conflict resolution is a love language to certain people. Let me say that again. Conflict resolution is a love language to people, and it is the most unhealthy scenarios. The roller coaster. There are people, men, women, young, old, I don't care who you are. I watch them. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I've cried over it and been frustrated as hell. I don't need to have a conflict. We can have communication. We can deal with it. But you see this happen with young men that I work with out in the community of, well, I'm going to push back on you because how hard you fought to stretch that rubber band. That's how much you love me. Well, they then become a young man that goes into a real relationship with a young woman. And they think that, well, if I push back against you and you go through that conflict resolution with me, you love me. And so we have to have conflict to feel like we have cohesion. That is so unhealthy. And when I see that around, when someone says, hey, this is on fire, I'm sorry. And then you get the text and you get the voicemails of, I shouldn't have done that. That's okay. That's an apology. Things happen. We're normal. But then when it becomes that roller coaster of, hey, it's all right. We talked about it. Here's what's going on. I've experienced that. And that is so rough to have that peak and valley. Have you guys gone through that type of thing where you felt with someone, they almost create a conflict and then they have to create a solution, and then they're almost trying to provide value? And someone say, oh God.
I did.
Okay, my bad. So y'all triggered. You know what I'm talking about. And I think unfortunately, you know, we're mammals, right? Like we want to see fruitful results. I mean, I'm in IT, Tim, you're in IT. Our posts, right? Our echoes, our prints in our coding world. We want to see outcomes and visual results. So I get that we have that human nature to see cause and effect. But I think a lot of times what really should be happening is that cause and effect should be emotional and should be internalized. It doesn't have to be something physical. Now, my love language is act of service. The reason being is I don't want to hear the words. I want to see the results. That's just how I am. So that roller coaster, man, that drives me nuts when it comes to dating and talks. And if I go through it once, what is it? Happens on me, shame on you. Happens on me twice, shame on me. I believe that real quick these days.
But yeah, that I think that comes with knowing how much patience you have to deal with a person and their things, because as you get to know people and spend time with them, things begin to unfold. Some things that they've never dealt with, whether it's childhood or, you know, past relationships or whatever. So like you said, when you enter into this and you sign up for all of them, the things that you see and the things that you can't.
Oh, yes,
so it's just, especially with women, we are more emotional than anything. So that's where that roller coaster goes up and down. We deal with things, you know, every month that come around and we have no control over. Hormones
we don't either.
And that type of thing. Right. We just have to deal, you know, and try to make it through it. But just having that patience, because I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they were asking me, they were worried kind of because they are emotional and they're in a new relationship, and you know, they haven't been in a relationship for a while, and just the ups and downs. And she was just wondering if, you know, what to do. And I'm just saying, pray for patience. Like if he loves you, you know, unconditionally, he's willing to kind of help you grow through the things that you're struggling with right now. But if you just have to have that understanding and that patience to deal with certain people, because we all have trauma and baggage and things that we've been through and gone through. It's not going to be perfect.
Right.
We can't just sit down at the table and say, okay, this is what it's going to be. Let's move forward from there. No, we go out into the world. We are impacted with things every day. We are emotional and that type of thing. So it's just like, are you here for this? Or do you want someone that's kind of a emotional robot to where it's just like, I'm this way and that's how it's going to be? That's not realistic to me.
And then again, everything you just said, Ieshia, was a decision. People have to make that decision. You know, am I going to deal with this person who's emotional? And I know this coming into the game. You know, I know that this person reacts in this type of way. Do I watch it? Am I capable to be able to handle her? Do I have the capacity to be able to handle him? You know, those are all decisions that we have the power to make. And so one of the things that I'm learning is just don't make the decision out of feeling, make it out of commitment. You know, just don't be like, oh yeah, oh no, mean what you say and say what you mean, because that's what they're relying on. You know, they don't need that whole you're here for the feeling and the emotion of it. You know, they need that, you know, the whole thing about a relationship is that there's two people that are working on, you know, themselves and working on understanding what it means to be one, yet still being individually unique in themselves. And so a lot of times women want to come into these relationships and change men, and it don't work like that.
Right.
When the more that we can understand that, the more that we'll be able to, you know, really have healthy relationships with men, and understanding that if I'm not trying to change you, you're not trying to change me. However, we can change the world together. You know, communities together. You know,
that union should definitely inspire you to grow, though. You know what I mean? When you come together with someone else, and you're definitely gonna see your flaws. They're gonna point them out. Some things that, you know, they don't like about you, and you'll figure out, okay, I don't like this about me either. Thank you for telling me. If you're mature enough to even have those type of conversations, and then, you know, go and grow from there. But you know, a lot of people, they don't have the patience or the understanding for that. It's just like, okay, you did this, I don't like that, I'm done, because they don't know how to deal. We don't know how to be invested in another person's growth.
Yeah, exactly. I see that a lot when it's like understanding the difference between, like, a lot of the times back in the past was saying, like, you know, we're 50-50, which makes 100. Nah, B. You need to be okay. You need to look at it as in a different standpoint. Like, this is a partnership. This is, you know, it's we're building a business. We're building us. And if you're not about building us, then move on, you know, and it's okay. It's okay to say that. And it's okay to just literally, you know, say that this makes me uncomfortable. This makes me not feel, this makes me feel uneasy or anything like that. So you really have to come up and just, and it's, you know, I hate the term man up, but everybody got to do it. It's not men. It's everyone needs to do it. Okay. Everybody just needs to speak up and just say what's on their mind. They're not willing to take that part and say, this is what I'm feeling. This is what's going on, you know, and we're not able to dive in and dissect, because the whole thing is dissecting together. No one's meant to do this alone. We're meant to do this. This is the whole thing about relationships, whatever relationship that you're in, whether it be a friendship, brotherhood, sisterhood, in a actual relation, intimacy, because that intimacy is so different when you take it and you break it apart and you really break it down and say, this is what I'm intimate about my passion. I'm intimate about my lover. I'm intimate about my child. Those are all different, and they're all meant to be dealt with different. And that emotion part that comes with it, you should want to express that. And if you can't express it, what's up? What's wrong? You know,
a lot of times, if they don't, it's out of fear.
And it is totally out of fear. Fear of being rejected on that end, fear of them not understanding, or, you know, but if you don't actually say it, then you're taking the choice away from me, from even saying, or taking the choice from them saying, oh, well, you're not capable of, but you ain't even tried.
You didn't even try it. Yeah. And that's people try to control the situation. You try to control things you can't control because you ultimately cannot control the other person's reaction.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
versus being afraid and holding it in, expressing it, and then being ready to deal with what comes after. I know a lot of people just not equipped to deal with it. So they try to, manipulate the situation in a sense. Just to
Right.
say, I'm gonna take control over it by not doing this, but then you're creating another problem
Yep.
because you are hiding this and holding this in, but in turns it makes you act out in different ways. You know what I mean? So just without expressing what it is that you want to say and what's on your mind, you're going to do something with that. You're going to do something with those feelings and emotions that's not probably going to be in the best interest of you or your relationship. So you might as well just, like you said, man up and, face your emotions and whatever comes after that. But at least you know that you expressed your truth and what you had to say and how you really felt. And if the person can't handle that, y'all have a conversation about that. And if not, go your separate ways or whatever. But, holding stuff in is never good for either party.
Not at all. And on that part,
it's more damaging.
Right. So after my divorce, I went to therapy. I mean, I lost my family. I lost, my child, my marriage. It hit me a little bit. And one of the big impactful things I took away from that was the other person, the other point of view, the other perspective. And I'm a Capricorn through and through. Okay, there is no gray area with me other than when it comes to my kids. Other than that, it is black and white. I will set you up to succeed. I want you to do the same. So when it comes to, this conversation of, is it as simple as treat others as you want to be treated?
Uh-oh.
Is it that simple? And I think at times it is, but the problem is a lot of times the other person on the other side of the table is thinking the same thing. So to your point, Ieshia, I apologize if I was saying Ieshia before. We ain't met, but I hate messing up names.
No, it's Ieshia. You good?
Okay. If you don't put it out there, how can you expect it in return? I talked earlier about when someone asks me a whole bunch of questions, don't ask them a whole bunch of damn questions if you ain't gonna give the same answer. Where's that barrier? Why is there a wall? But I go into a relationship saying, well, I want you to talk to me like this. I want your acts and results to be like this. I have expectations. And it's not like I walk in and say, here's my laundry list and you better get it right. However, I probably have, and that's not good. But we got to be open. And at the same time, we've got to at least create an environment where the person on the other side of the table, our partners, are willing and comfortable to do the same to us. And so I know that we want to be clear, but we also need to not be so stubborn and so rigid, not to allow us to just be normal human beings and listen at times and be the sponge and create an environment where someone can relax to unpack themselves as well.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, treat people how you want to be treated when it comes to dating. It is rough and tough out here for a lot of these folks that have that. But for me, I know when I'm looking for that final chapter, I've got to be able to be the most comfortable version I can be, to unpack, to talk. And I want someone's expectations of what I need to be clear. And that's going to take me. And that's also going to take them to want to be me. So I know I'm getting deep on that one, but
no, it's good. It's right. It's tight. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I got to go. This is such great talks, y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Tim, we still need some yak and cigars, man. It's taking too long.
Bro, what you doing today?
What's
what
that?
you doing today?
I'm
gonna hit you up today.
All right, text me, man. Please do.
All right.
Other women, I appreciate y'all. I'm looking at you. You better send me that sister you talking about now.
I got you.
All right.
I'm gonna inbox you later. I got you.
All right. I appreciate y'all. Much love.
Much love. Mwah.
Bye, y'all.
Tim, share some of your parting words with us, and then we can. Tanisha, I want to hear from you too. You've been quiet, and then we can.
I just let everybody else talk because I like to go in sometimes, and I don't want a long win. But just to touch a few points, what bro was saying was, love is not deceiving. Love is not abusing somebody at the end of the day, and love is appreciating, celebrating the person. Basic common sense. And we have to stop beating ourselves up and understand that what we perceive from somebody else, they might don't even know their self. So you can't just overwhelm yourself either, overthinking either, thinking, oh, this person, I want this, want that. But if they don't even know their own stuff and they don't pretend for so long, you're not going to get what you want. So it's two sides to each story. So this is what I've been sitting on. I ain't want to say nothing. I'm always respectful at all times, but you just got to get to know the person. You can say this all day, but at the end of the day, it's two sides to every story. You got to remember, you could be with a person for 10 years and still not know that person, and they can show you the real them after 10 years. Then they're done that, just from experience. 2 years don't matter no more. It's just a process, and when you learn the process, you have to keep learning. Love is different levels. I'm learning as I go, keep pushing with me and my husband. I done been there back and forth, and before him too. I mean, I could think if he didn't hit me, he didn't love me. So it's different levels of love. It's different topics we can go upon about, just like Liz said. And whatever topic we pick, I'm all in. Because this could be a series all day.
It could be all day. Literally all day. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love it. Tim, we gonna end the show with your words of wisdom. So go ahead and take us on out, sir.
Just, I don't know. I still want to, the Greeks. And I think if we really embody and go and understand eros, the phileo, the agape, the familia, all those different loves, the Greeks had different words for, because they embodied a specific emotion behind it. If I love my family, if I love my children, I love different things. So I think in our relationships, we need to really understand what we mean when we say we love, and be able to communicate that in, the best way we can. If I say I love you, I need to preface that with, okay, this is what I mean. And the other piece of that is, when we're loving, is just kind of, when we kind of said it in different ways, is don't expect from people, expect from yourself. Give what you're supposed to give what you believe you should give as love, whatever that is, give that. And if you attract, and when you attract that to you, it will line up and make sense. And I think so many times we're out of alignment because we haven't been our authentic self. And when we're really authentic in how we love and how we move, and are very discerning and choose who we give that to, don't just fall for the okie doke because somebody look good, smell good, and all that, that's surface. We got to be saying, I'm going to love you with all your flaws and baggage, and I'm going to give that to you as a decision, and not in words, but as action. This is what I'm going to do. So those are my words.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you. Ieshia, amazing job as always. We love how you set this up. Thank you so much with your segment, Love for Real, just tying into today's show. So we want to give a shout out to Michael in his absence. Thank you, Timothy Moore, for being here with us. And it has been an amazing show for sure. And next month, y'all ain't ready. We are so excited. It is all things health, from nutrition, physical fitness, mental health, spiritual health. We have some amazing speakers coming to the platform that are really experts in their right to be able to help us get this thing together, all things health from all shapes and forms. So we're really excited. With that being said, it's been another episode of Vault Talks. You can catch us on Vault Talks on our YouTube channel. You can catch us right here where you're viewing us. And so we're really thankful for sharing some time with you guys. And we know that this show has been the bomb.com. So just give us some hearts and some love, and make sure you tune in next week. And with that being said, we out. Much love.